The last big question is about the 12-step program. I'd like to start by saying anyone out there for whom 12-step programs have saved your life, I'm not here to argue with that. There are, however, people who have tried it and it doesn't work and they get more discouraged. Some of my critique of 12 steps is for the people that tried it and it didn't work, or the people for whom it might not be a fit going in. You and I have talked about these programs, and while they're helpful for some people, they don't help everyone. Almost nothing helps absolutely everyone. What are some of the potential pitfalls from your perspective of a 12-step program which focuses initially on powerlessness and turning your will over to someone or something else in a healing process for trauma?
In my experience, I find that one of the first things that I need to shift someone's experience around is their sense of agency. That's where I start them, in fact. And how I do that is teaching them these skills. I don't give them something that is a guided exercise, for example. And then I say, this is what you watch. Do this so many times a day. And it has to be this because you can't clearly do anything for yourself.
Right.
Instead, what I'm doing is I'm teaching them the exercise, and then I'm saying, make this your own. This isn't mine. This isn't my exercise anymore. This is yours. I gave it to you.
Oh, thank you.
I want you to make it yours. And once you know what it's intended to create inside of you, then you can do your own experimenting and practicing and truly make it yours. And now all of a sudden, you have something that allows you to do something for yourself. You're not dependent on me. You're grateful for me, but you're not dependent on me. And this is not just in 12-step recovery. This is in many systems that are set up to make the client or the patient dependent on the provider. This is what happens in medicine. In fact, if you go against what your provider says, you are called non-compliant. That stamp goes on your patient report, and now everyone will get to see she's one of those patients who questions the doctor. How dare you?
Yes, I'm a troublemaker.
I can see. Kindred spirit, me too. This is in our culture. This is our society that we like to keep people powerless. That is why when I look at the principles of what is required for true trauma recovery, very early on, I am seeking, how can I make this person start to trust themselves? Not trust me. It's not the point. I need them to trust themselves, and they've lost all trust in themselves. After experiencing trauma, what happens is that a person not only loses trust in others, but they lose trust in themselves. I should have known. I should have been better prepared. I should have done something. I should have said something. I should have stopped it. So they've lost trust in themselves, which is why one of the key principles of true trauma recovery is that as early as possible, this is not a late stage step. This is as early as possible. We want to help them start to establish these steps in trusting themselves again. That is the most important relationship for them to establish and repair that trust. It's not with someone else. That will come later. But first, we have to be able to have a different relationship with ourselves, trust ourselves, and then that relationship can extend to other people. And now we can let other people in and start to trust them, but only because we have that foundation of trusting ourselves. So as early as possible, I am working to have a person have self-agency. I can do something about this. I can use a tool. I can use a skill. I'm not depending on someone else. I'm not calling someone else. I am repairing the trust in my own ability to protect myself and to live a good life.
The program has a motto, keeping it green. So I was told to always remember and keep at the very front of my mind the terrible things that had happened to me particularly those that happen in connection to drinking at 18 and 19. I've been in the program for 10 years, maybe I haven't picked up a drink in that long, but I'm still supposed to keep it at front of mind. How might that affect someone trying to recover from trauma?
I think that we enter into this challenge when we're trying to do everything with our mind rather than with our body. Because if my strategy for not repeating mistakes in the past is by always remembering them and keeping them front of mind, then I'm just relying on my willpower. I'm relying on my mind and not this feeling in my body that would now tell me that's not for me. We haven't trusted our intuition. We haven't trusted our body. And so that's the shift that really needs to happen with trauma recovery, is that my body and I have a different relationship, so that my body is now helping me make good decisions that will serve me, that will end in positive outcomes, that will help me have a better tomorrow, and not have it be all up in my head where I am analyzing everything, over-analyzing everything, and needing that as my strategy to get through life. I understand that for most people, that will sound so foreign that it won't make sense. And in fact, in many places, we are told you can't trust your intuition. You can't trust your gut. I've even heard the line in recovery, you've got a bad picker, meaning you can't trust your intuition.
Yeah.
But is it really intuition that we've leaned on, or is it our patterns of pain, patterns of protection that then continue leading us down these paths? What if I could actually develop a healthy relationship with my body and a healthy intuition that then my body could sit down with me and be like, is this really what you want to do? It's not who we are anymore. And that would be, for me, the shift then that happens with the mind, is that when the body decides that no longer serves us, now we are able to do differently because we have different skills, we have different knowledge, then the mind follows that as well. And we don't need to keep it green for who I used to be, because I'm a new person now. I have new skills. I have new tools. I do things very differently now because I've developed a new relationship and with new tools.
And the world opens up.
And the world opens up. Wow. More and more.
This has been so educational, and I've read your book and I've watched your videos and I'm still learning more. Where can people go to learn more about you and your methodologies? Of course, there's The Biology of Trauma, available in hardback and on Kindle. But also you have other social media. What else do you have?
I have a YouTube channel with educational videos. I have a podcast, and they can find all of that on biologyoftrauma.com.
And am I correct that you also train other therapists on how to do some of this work?
I do. So my programs and courses are online, and I lead people through learning these skills and helping them understand the science and their physiology so that they can have the change that we've been talking about. And then I train practitioners to do the same so that they can help those that they work with.
That's so exciting, and such a new world for trauma survivors and the people who care for them. Thank you again. I so appreciate your time and your expertise.
Thank you.